So now, guys, we have multiple civil wars that are going on. We have a Democratic civil war and we have a Republican civil war. On the Democratic side, it's the best kind of civil war because what we have is the people against the elites. And that's a good place to be because that means all the voters are on the same page. The people are on the same page, and it's just Democratic leadership that is getting in the way. So we're staring down the barrel of the Democratic Tea Party. It's already started with the election of Zoran Mamdani, but it's going to go further. I mean, we're going to get Graham Plattner's probably going to win. Abdul El Sayed is probably going to win. You have a lot of these characters now. Katabu Ghazaleh is probably going to win. Like, all of these people who are running from the left flank and who are actually fighting are probably going to win. So on our side, it is the most glorious of civil wars imaginable. On the right, it's a little bit of a different story because you have the mainstream of the Republican Party, right? The people with power, but also plenty of older voters in particular, older Republican base voters in particular. And they're up against the Tucker/Fuentes wing, which is, overtly white nationalist. And not only do they hate the normal groups that Republicans hate, but they also added Indians and Jews to the mix. So it is basically like the Netanyahu-loving wing versus the Hitler-loving wing of the Republican Party. And that is an ugly and a messy civil war. A lot of stuff unfolded about this over the weekend. We're going to walk through it. First, let's start with Megyn Kelly, who's about to play a big role because she's sort of, stoking the flames of the fire here. She did an interview with Tucker Carlson. Then she did an interview with Ben Shapiro. And it was like everybody was throwing haymakers at each other. And she was standing there playing basically Sally Jesse Raphael. For those of you those millennials out there, or fucking Jerry Springer out there, she asks a question and they start shanking each other to death. And she's just, hey, who, me? I'm not doing anything. I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, so here was her reaction. Let's start with this. This was her reaction to the election results. And you're about to see the immense level of cope that these people have. Watch.
The Republican Party needs to get its shit together. ASAP. I'm really glad we spent the past couple of weeks, as Sean Davis of The Federalist put it, policing some young person's group chat.
Do you know what she's saying? She's saying the Republicans lost because they're too anti-Nazi. The Republicans lost because they said, hey, we condemn the I Love Hitler group chat that leaked. The young Republicans who are 40 and under, by the way, young my ass cheeks. These are people who have positions in state parties and shit. And they were saying, I love Hitler. And she's like, you shouldn't have criticized those people. That's why we lost. So go softer on Nazis is your grand plan to get out of this?
Couple of weeks, as Sean Davis of The Federalist put it, policing some young person's group chat. What a podcast host said.
Stop being mean to Nick Fuentes. Stop being mean to the Nazi groypers online. Wow. What a fucking brilliant takeaway. If we were just a little nicer to Nazis, we would have won. Okay, be my guest. Good luck with that strategy, right? Now, I'm old-fashioned. I think that you guys getting blown the fuck out has more to do with the fact that inflation's going up, unemployment's going up, the Epstein files haven't been released, you're sending $40 billion to Argentina while Americans suffer, you're continuing to aid and abet a fucking genocide, you're not releasing the Epstein files. Yeah, all this shit, right? That's the real issue. It's not. By the way, a big thing, which the polls show, this is when the real turn happened of the American public against Trump and MAGA. It honestly is the fucking him tearing down the East Wing of the White House to build the fucking billionaire Jeffrey Epstein Memorial Ballroom. That's literally what it is. That's what the polls show. And so here she is. Stop being mean to Nick Fuentes. That was the problem. Unbelievable. Okay, so now you're going to get a little sense of where she is in this fight. Okay? Tucker Carlson goes on Megyn Kelly's show, and he is going to go after the Israel first wing of the Republican Party, including Randy Fine. Let's watch.
They say that I don't accept platforming as a valid objection.
What is that a verb, by the way? You take a noun and you make it into a verb and nobody says anything? As a former editor, I say no.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
Honestly, but as far as I know, Nick Fuentes hasn't eaten anyone. Jeffrey Dahmer ate people, and he was platformed by Diane Sawyer.
We have a...
he did say, I love Hitler. He did say Hitler is, quote, really fucking cool. He did say women shouldn't be allowed to vote. He did say that we should have Catholic Taliban rule in this country. This is such bullshit. If any leftist were to platform some, communist, they'd be like, this is unacceptable. But now when it's on their side, it's, there's no criticism of platforming that's reasonable. Everybody's got some fucking line. Yes, if you're talking to a serial killer or a fucking child rapist or a jihadist, or, whatever, a violent paranoid schizophrenic or a cult leader. I don't know about that one, but fucking they make an exception for Fuentes. Why? Because they realize, hey, there's a lot of fucking white nationalists and Nazis in our base. That's where this really stems from, is they know where their fucking bread is buttered.
We have a sitting member of Congress from Florida called Randy Fine, who has literally texted or put on Twitter, we should kill them all. Every single one.
He threatened that we should nuke Gaza like Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He said we should nuke Gaza. There were 2 million people, 2.3 million people in Gaza.
Someone texted a picture of literally of a dead baby, and he laughs at it. And it's like, this guy's a lawmaker who's appropriating money to a military committing genocide, and that's cool? It's not cool.
No.
And let's just be honest. That is much worse than anything Nick Fuentes has said, period.
See, and that point is actually correct, which is why it's so hard for the Ben Shapiros and the Randy Fines and the Mark Levins to try to gatekeep now and clutch their pearls and say, this is unacceptable, Fuentes isn't allowed in conversation anymore, when you guys have said shit just as bad, if not fucking worse. Randy Fine, yes, he is equally morally disgusting to fucking Nick Fuentes. Equally morally disgusting. And in some ways you can say worse because he actually voted to send money to Israel, which they then used to shoot children in the face and kill them. Okay? But Nick Fuentes has never had that kind of power where he can vote to do something like that. I'm sure if he did have that power, he would cast similarly disgusting votes since he fucking loves Hitler, right? So don't get it twisted here. This isn't an excuse for Nick Fuentes, but the bottom line is, you can't gatekeep if you are as morally depraved as fucking Randy Fine and Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin. It comes across as incredibly hollow because it is incredibly hollow.
So the main pushback has been when you had Jeffrey Dahmer or the Ku Klux Klan, or et cetera, these journalists went after them, like exposed the terrible things. And Nick Fuentes has said a long list of very vile things.
Big time, including attacking my dad, which was the most vile of all, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean...
Attacking your dad is more vile than saying, I love Hitler. Attacking your dad is more vile than saying women shouldn't vote. Attacking your dad is more vile than Fuentes saying that white people should be racist. I mean, what a fucking baby reaction this is.
I personally have watched videos of him questioning the Holocaust, likening it to baking cookies in the oven, and there's no way you could have gotten to 6 million, seems to be his theory. He seems to think that we've way overstated the number of Jews killed in the Holocaust. He's ripped on poor Usha Vance in the most offensive terms, which I mean, so what do you say to those people? Say, why didn't you raise any of that?
Do your own interview the way that you want to do it. You're not my editor. Buzz off.
This is a bitch ass fucking response. And he knows it's correct, which is why he's getting so defensive now. Look, if he had on Nick Fuentes, did he push back? He mildly pushed back on like, Nick, maybe not all Jews are the problem. Maybe you shouldn't hate all Jews, Nick. But yeah, he didn't bring up any of his fucking laundry list of horrific beliefs. That's the thing, guys. It's not just like, oh, he made a joke that was off. No, he says shit that he fucking believes, right? He says things he believes. The things he believes are fucking pro-Nazi, and you didn't push him on it. And you didn't push him on it because you're fucking scared. You're scared because he's got a bunch of passionate young people who are willing to ride or die for him. Ride or die, metaphorically, or maybe not metaphorically. I don't know. You guys tell me. But he's got a whole bunch of young people who are very politically active, very engaged. And Tucker doesn't want to fucking take on that fight because he doesn't want his fucking, his videos to get mass downvoted or, the right-wing base to turn on him and to, cut the legs out from underneath his career. That really is what it is. And so here he's pretending like, it's unreasonable to ask him to ask the Nazi tougher questions. And obviously that's not unreasonable. It's the exact way you should handle an interview with somebody like Nick Fuentes.
I mean, I don't know. You want to go yell at Nick Fuentes? I'll give you his cell. Call him and go sit and yell at him and feel virtuous or whatever. That's up to you. I got the same thing with Putin. Why aren't you yelling?
No. Don't accuse other people. Oh, you're just virtue signaling by saying we should ask Nick Fuentes tough questions. No, or how about you are vice signaling by having him on and being a bitch and letting him run roughshod over you. You're vice signaling. That's what it is. It's the opposite. Like, oh, God, I can't fucking stand these people.
Okay, why? So I can show that I'm a good person? I care about what my wife thinks.
You didn't go tough on Putin because that would be like virtue signaling and me trying to prove that I'm a good person. Like, I don't know, maybe you should go tough on him because he illegally and offensively invaded another country that didn't fucking attack him. What is this?
I don't need to prove that I'm a good person to you. You may think I'm a terrible person. Okay, I'm just doing my thing, which is...
This isn't about your fucking... He's so in his feelings, right? This is about, are you going to hold the person accountable who you're talking to? But the fact of the matter is, you are an ideological fellow traveler to Nick Fuentes, which is also why you didn't fucking go after him hard. You're scared of his audience, and also, you, 50 to 70% agree with him. And that's what it is.
I want to understand what people think, and I'm committed to that. And if you don't like it, don't watch. That's my view.
Is that what you were doing when you fucking grilled the shit out of Ted Cruz? Which, by the way, I enjoyed. I enjoyed that. But you should have treated Nick Fuentes the fucking same, and you didn't. And you know it. And that's why you're so defensive right now. But we're just getting started, bro. We're just getting started. So here's Ben Shapiro. And this is a rich argument from this guy. He's with the trigonometry idiots. And this is, I mean, I think my head actually exploded when I first heard this.
I think this idea that you're not allowed to have scorn for views that you believe are damaging or deeply immoral, like truly bad. Like, for example, not even arguments, just statements. Like, you know, Nick Fuentes calling J.D. Vance's wife a Jeet. Like, that's not an argument. Or that or like, how are you supposed to respond to the argument that he has made, for example, that J.D. Vance is a fat gay race traitor who shouldn't be president of the United States because he's in an intermarriage? Am I allowed to respond to scorn? I feel like scorn is a pretty good response to that, and that doesn't actually deserve a debate or a fulsome discussion, and that in fact treating that as though that is a rational idea is a disservice to rationality. But if you treat all forms of that response as cancellation, that's probably how you get to this math.
But the same thing applies to your genocide support. Oh my God, I can't deal with this. Ben, you have a long track record of saying Nick Fuentes like shit on every topic but Jews and Indians. I mean, remember that old tweet where he said something like, Israelis like to build, Arabs like to live in sewage and bomb crap, hashtag settlements rock. Now, he since apologized for that, but you said that. You believed it. You meant it. Right? You currently support a government that is massacring innocent people on a daily fucking basis. There was a story from recently where the IDF sniped a Gaza surgeon while he was in the hospital through the fucking window. I believe we played the video on this show. And you're still defending that government. You're still pretending like it's a defensive war from Israel. Like, you are just as grotesque in different ways. And so, to your point, like, are there some things that are worthy of scorn and mockery and derision? Abso-fucking-lutely. You and Nick Fuentes are both guilty of those things all the fucking time, by the way. Like, this is Ben Shapiro not realizing the monster he fucking created. He's out there. How many times has he been out there? He has no problem using every divisive, bigoted argument you can think of against Hispanic immigrants, for example, or black people, or women, or gay people, or trans people. There's all hate. And then he goes, whoa, why are you hating Indians and hating Jews? Because they took your ideology to its logical... I just spit all over the place, by the way. They just took your ideology to its logical fucking conclusion. That's it. That's all they did. They said that ditto with everything he said, except add Indians and add Jews. And they're going, wait, we wanted to carve out a woke zone for both Jews and Indians, but say, yeah, go ahead and hate black people, go ahead and hate women, go ahead and hate immigrants, go ahead and hate trans people and LGBTQ people. You created this, bro. You fucking created this. And you're too dumb to realize that you did. Like, I'm sorry. Clearly, you can't cherry pick hatred because the people who go all the way will win out on the argument. And you also can't cherry pick equality because the people who go all the way will win out on the argument. And that's why we support equality. We support equality. We support freedom. We support treating everybody equally under the law with dignity and respect. And on their side, it's literally a race to the bottom. And Ben Shapiro was going, wait, I was the gatekeeper on the right. Nobody was supposed to go more hateful than me. Well, they did. As I said, your options are, who do you want to, if you're a right winger, which team are you on? The people who support the old Holocaust or the new Holocaust? Those are your two different camps on the right. The pro-Hitler people or the pro-Netanyahu people, who's basically modern-day Hitler. All right, I'm still not done, though. Here we go. So here's Megyn Kelly. I mean, kind of like trying to play both sides here and sit on the fence. This is not, the center will not hold. This is not possible.
I think that what Candace Owens is doing right now is evil. It is evil, what she is doing right now. Okay, and I say that, again.
But what
Because
like, I didn't opine on whether it's evil or not, but my position is it's really none of my business. And
why is it? But I have a question. Why is it none of your business? I mean, you comment on these things for a living.
I'm not mother of the internet.
No, but if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk, yes.
Okay. Like I said, I don't take in that content, which is an honest statement. I don't have time to watch
No,
Candace's show.
I believe you. I believe you. But the point that I'm making is that when
what I
that
understand
friendship
Candace
should
to
not,
have
in our
been
business,
doing.
I think it's important. Listen,
No, and Candace
friendship
and I are
should
not
not
friends.
trump.
We don't even know each other.
I understand, but even with Tucker, friendship should not trump our manifest requirement to speak out when people do and say things that are both detrimental to conservatism and morally wrong.
Okay,
They are fucking tearing each other apart, and I love it. And Megyn Kelly here trying to split the difference and be like, well, you know, I kind of like Candace, and can't we all just get along? Can't we all hold hands and sing Kumbaya? This is the Matt Walsh line. This is the Michael Knowles line, because they work for Ben Shapiro, by the way. They probably agree more with Nick Fuentes, but they refuse to fucking say it because they work for Ben Shapiro, and that's where their bread is butter, and that's how they get fucking paid. But here's Megyn Kelly. Oh, gosh, I don't know. Are we fighting? Are we not getting along? Well, I kind of like both of you. Here's, I think, what she's trying to say. Let me steel man her. And Shapiro's up there like, no, fuck these fucking people. She's smearing Erica Kirk into... Which, by the way, Ben Shapiro, if you're out there still pretending, as he is, by the way, that Tyler Robinson definitely killed Charlie Kirk and he's part of Trans Tifa and like this was a coordinated left-wing assault on the right, you're the fucking bullshitter, you're the fucking liar, and you're the one who's not going where the fucking evidence points, okay? I'm not a big fan of Candace Owens over here. But she's at least asking questions on that issue, and you are, case closed, it was Tyler Robinson, and the left is to blame, and let's all go to fucking war against the left. So you're the one that's trying to fucking inflame tensions, and you're the one that's trying to deflect from the reality that everybody knows the fucking official story makes no goddamn sense. Really? You're gonna trust these fucking Keystone Cop idiots? You're gonna trust these Paul Blart Mall Cop idiots? Kash Patel? And Dan Bongino? Oh, yeah, I think we got the guy. Oh, what's that? The story falls apart within the first fucking minute? Are you kidding me? So, but this is glorious. I love it. Tear each other apart. Rip each other to shreds. We love it. Candace, you're on the clock. We're waiting for your reaction. We're waiting. It's probably going to be glorious, if I'm being honest with you. All right. Here is Megyn trying to defend Tucker again, and Ben Shapiro not having it.
Saying last week that the Venezuelan regime of Nicolas Maduro is actually not that bad because they're being...
Okay, hold the phone. Hold the phone. The reason for anybody to defend the Venezuelan government right now is because they are under an illegal and offensive attack from the United States of America. We are illegally and unconstitutionally bombing innocent Venezuelan fishing boats. You have the government plotting a war on terror style illegal regime change. And so, yes, the correct thing to do is to say, I don't give a fuck about Maduro's flaws. This is wrong for us to do. We are in no position to do this. We should not be allowed to do this. If they do this, they should be fucking arrested and locked up at The Hague, okay? That's the point. That's the point. But instead he's going to, oh, but Maduro's really bad. Who gives a fuck? Who cares if he's bad? Who cares? Even if he's a communist dictator, who cares? That's none of our business. That's not our country. But here he is. He's going to be making, the undertones of this point is, how come Tucker's not for regime change in Venezuela? How fucking dare he? How dare he? This is what we all do on the right. We want to illegally and offensively overthrow governments that we don't like. Why is he not on board with our fucking murder and terrorism spree?
Saying last week that the Venezuelan regime of Nicolas Maduro is actually not that bad because they're being attacked by, in his words, globo homo.
Tucker's made the point, I'm not here to be Tucker's defender, but he's made the point that Maduro is culturally conservative.
Who gives a shit? The guy's a communist dictator. Everyone in his country is eating dog.
I will say, this is part of the problem with being a paleo-conservative and a non-interventionist on the right, is that your arguments are fucking trash, right? Like, I don't doubt that Tucker was like, oh, we shouldn't overthrow Maduro because he's anti-abortion. No, you shouldn't overthrow Maduro because it's an illegal and offensive attack against a country that didn't attack us and is no threat to us. We have no right to do it. We need to believe in international law. We need to believe that the same rules apply to us as to everybody else. That's the real thing. But Tucker won't say that because that's an icky left-wing anti-war argument, not one of these shitty right-wing anti-war arguments. So obviously, this argument's pretty fucking hollow and it didn't land. Now did it, Tuckster?
The guy's a communist dictator. Everyone in his country is eating dog. He's shipping fentanyl to the United States to kill Americans. Why do we give a shit?
That's a lie. That is a fucking disgusting lie. He's not shipping fentanyl. None of the fucking fentanyl, none of it comes from Venezuela. That's a lie. And this is what Ben does. He lies because he loves regime change wars. He loves it. He loves it. Which is why his gatekeeping is so fucking hollow. You can't say, oh, Candace and Nick Fuentes and Tucker are so evil. But by the way, here's 48 new wars I would like to send your kids to fight and die in. Fuck you. Fuck you. Who are you? You're not some moral arbiter. You're a piece of shit. I mean, it's absurd that he thinks he can fucking tut-tut and finger wag and like police the boundaries of discourse when you're one of the most depraved people, vile, wretched creatures in the goddamn country.
Whether he's anti-LGBTQ rights. This is the number one thing about Nicolas Maduro. You know how far down the list you have to get before you can get to anything remotely recommendable about Nicolas Maduro?
All right, we're still not done. So now, Fuentes comes in from the top rope, and Fuentes, like, he doesn't have the ability to, like, reel it in when he sees somebody who's, you know, not a total enemy of his, but also not a total ally. So Megyn Kelly's trying to fence it. And instead of trying to attack flies with honey, he goes straight to, like, fucking ripping her a new asshole. So he's just shooting his fucking machine gun in every direction. He's doing the say hello to my little friend bit. And let's take a look at some of that.
The level of dishonesty, the level of lies and dishonesty. And by the way, they're trying now to make me a scapegoat. Look at how all of them are treating me. All of them. They're making me out now to be the scapegoat so no one can ever criticize Israel. Too many people are criticizing Israel. So now that Tucker had me on the show, they're going to dredge up clips where I say Hitler's cool. And everyone now is going to join in and be complicit in it and throw me on the pyre and crucify me.
Bro, you threw yourself on the pyre, bro. What is this? Oh, you're going to come after me just because I said I love Hitler? Yeah. Fucking of course we are. What are you talking about?
So that I will die for being the one that will criticize Israel. Maybe literally. Certainly.
Okay, by the way, as one of the top fucking Israel critics in the country, let me just say, Nick, you're not fucking helping. Because then they get to look at you and they go, all these people who are criticizing Israel are basically groypers. They're all right-wingers. They're all fascists. They're all in agreement with Nick Fuentes. So when they criticize Israel, what they're really trying to say is, I love Hitler. And you have made that an argument now that lands with some people because you are anti-Israel, but you do also love Hitler. Meanwhile, there's people like me out here who are fucking despise Hitler, and I despise Israel and Netanyahu because he's basically modern-day Hitler. So you're not helping. In fact, you're hurting quite a bit.
And I'm telling you, I'm not going onto the pyre willingly. Fuck you.
How dare you say I should disavow my Hitler support? Who does this appeal to other than the people who actually fucking love Hitler? And that's the point. Nobody but the people who love Hitler.
I'm not taking back anything that I said. I'm not going to stop focusing on Israel so Republicans can win elections. Fuck you. I'm not going to stop talking about the Jews. And by the way, when Tucker says this speech about collective guilt, I have no idea what he is talking about. I am a Christian. We are not talking about genociding anybody. We are not talking about collective guilt. We are possessed by the radical notion that the Jewish state of Israel has something to do with Jewishness.
I love that Tucker is like largely viewed as on his side in this feud. It's like Candace, Tucker, and him is like they've been grouped together by these pro-Israel right-wingers, and he still can't help himself, but also just starts swinging at the people who are viewed as in his tent. I love it. I love it. Just totally incapable of like fucking reading the room and being like, okay, that's the common enemy to our group. No, he's just like, and fuck him and Candace don't get along either. They fucking hate each other too. And clearly he's still throwing shots at Tucker.
So you can save that speech about collective guilt. We've heard it 4 times now. We got that.
I love how much of a destructive force he is on the right, man. He is a fucking wrecking ball for the right, and I'm so here for it.
Tucker said he told the #1 purveyor of anti-Semitism that anti-Semitism is wrong. Is that what you saw in that interview? Was that what you got from that?
In other words, Nick Fuentes is saying, no, he did kind of glaze me. He did. That's what he's saying here.
Why are we still using that word? What does that word even mean? Sorry, I'm possessed by the radical notion, you can call it identity politics, whatever you want, by the radical notion that the state of Israel cannot be divorced from Jewishness, from Jewish identity, from the Jewish, religious belief, which has defined their community for millennia, that they are the chosen people.
The reason why that makes absolutely no sense is because there are so many Jews who are anti-Zionists. There are so many Jews who will say it should be a secular country, a secular democratic country in that region that gives equal rights to everybody. To say that it's all Jews that are guilty, that's the Netanyahu line. Netanyahu says, we represent all Jews. So he's agreeing with the anti-Semitic Netanyahu line that all Jews are responsible for the fucking genocide and the bloodshed and the ethnic cleansing. I don't agree with that. I know way too many Jews who say, well, fuck them. You don't fucking represent me. Their whole group, not in my name or not in our name, right? So, like, you're just wrong. You're just wrong to say it's inherent in Jewishness. It's just not true.
They defend their disproportionate representation and power by saying they're smarter than us. Okay?
The whole purpose of this rant is to be like, hey, you're fucking wrong for criticizing me and saying and making a big deal out of the fact that I said I love Hitler in the past. And in the midst of that rant, he can't help but continue to rant against Jews. It's incredible.
Megyn Kelly said, he said awful, horrible things. Shut up. Shut up. You know what's awful and horrible? What is happening to our country? He said these awful and horrible things. Grow up. How old are you?
The point is like literally, you're not allowed to criticize me because things are happening in the country that are bad. What is that? How is that connected at all?
They're words on a show on the internet from a adolescent male live streamer, and people are, the hand wringing has got to stop.
But wait, did you mean it or did you not mean it? Because earlier you were saying, I'm not fucking apologizing for that stuff. And now you're saying, oh, I was just an adolescent. And also, no, it's not just words. It's an expression of what your fucking belief system is. And is it compatible with modern civilization? When you say, quote, Hitler was really fucking cool, incompatible. Quote, I admire Hitler, incompatible. When you do Holocaust denial, incompatible. And you go down the list here, I mean, Catholic Taliban rule in America, quote, we want to go back to the Middle Ages, quote, give the death penalty to Jews, atheists, and witches. Quote, democracy is wrong. Quote, I fucking hate the poor. I love the rich. Quote, dating women is gay. Having sex with women is gay. Like, that's an expression of what your belief system is, and people are allowed to fucking disagree with that. People are allowed to go, this is pretty fucking stupid. And if your response is nothing but to say, shut up, you haven't really thought through this well, have you?
That's all I've been hearing all week from Eric Metaxas. Shut up. Shut up. Shut your lying mouth. From all of them, Shapiro, this guy, the Christian Zionist, the pro-Israel crowd, the women, Megyn Kelly. He said awful, horrible, monstrous things. You really don't have an imagination. You think that's the worst thing happening in our country? If you followed the coverage of the Tucker interview, you would think that this country is utopic. And the only problem is that somewhere in the suburbs of Chicago, a young man said some naughty words. Really?
See how he downplays it? Oh, I said some naughty words.
Like, look around. 10 million illegal aliens in 4 years. We're at war with Russia. You have half the country is on welfare and hates Americans, hates whites.
He's literally like, you're not allowed to criticize me because things are happening. Why don't you talk about the things that are happening instead of me? Okay. Then we get to, so Ben Shapiro runs to Jake Tapper on CNN to basically be like, these people are unacceptable and bad and wrong, and we need to push back on their anti-Jewish hate. And look, again, this is the problem, is Ben, you were down for the anti-Hispanic hate, you were down for the anti-black hate, you were down for the anti-woman hate, you were down for the anti-trans hate, you're down for the anti-gay hate, and now you're like, oh, but not me! It rings hollow. You can't be a gatekeeper for what's moral because you support fucking genocide, and everybody fucking knows it. Everybody knows it. Ben Shapiro laments that the left's attacks on white Christian men created in them a feeling that they're in an identity group of their own with group interests. The committed Zionist complains that there are influencers who are fomenting and catering to this group solidarity. Shapiro says Charlie Kirk forbade this Groyper mentality from TPUSA, but now the door has been breached as evidenced by students criticizing Israel at TPUSA's Q&A events. Frankly, I think that TPUSA could do a better job of working with some of the personalities with whom it is currently working who are promoting this stuff, he says. That's them saying, stop fucking working with like Tucker Carlson. That's what he's saying here. But again, Ben, here's the problem. You can't say, hey, white Christians in America, you're not allowed to do identity politics, but then turn around and say that Israel is. Israel is a Jewish ethno-state. It is a Jewish supremacist ethno-state. You can't say, I get identity politics, but you don't get identity politics. And guess what? The real correct position is the position I have, which is none of you get to do it. Sorry, none of you get to do it. It's unacceptable because any sort in any ethno-state, by definition, is anti-democratic. It has to be. It has to be. Because what you're saying is we are creating a two-tier system. We are making it so that some people are full citizens with all their rights and others are not. So it's by definition a far right way to organize a country, right? So I'm against it. You should be against it. No ethno-states are acceptable. But what Ben Shapiro wants to do is he wants to say, we get one, but you guys don't. And that's why the argument is so fucking hollow and they are failing miserably. So Mark Levin jumps in, and this is, I mean, you think Fuentes is unhinged? This is way worse. Watch this.
I got a very strange text this morning from Tucker Carlson. 10:16 a.m. I'll read it to you verbatim. Good morning, he writes to me. The leadership at Turning Point has asked me to debate you at their event in Scottsdale in December. I'm happy to do it, and I hope you'll agree as well. Beyond the personal insults, which I'll try to keep to a minimum, there are real and important ideological differences between us, and I think the country would benefit from an extended conversation about them. So again, I hope you'll accept. Let me know. Thanks. The guy is desperate. He's taken a hit on his podcast.
His show is way bigger than yours. Like, way, not even close. Your show is fucking nothing compared to his. So don't say he's desperate. He's not. He's actually not.
He's fighting like hell for his career. He's fighting like hell for his reputation. People are awakening to what scum he actually is. And he thinks I'm going to platform him? He thinks I'm going to help him kick up his podcast ratings? What would Charlie say? What would Rush say? What would any rational response? Here it is. I wrote him the following. My family and I want nothing to do with you. What you've become, your vile libels against my faith, millions of Christians, and in my view, what you seek to do to our country. There's nothing to debate. You're a Nazi promoter. You're the modern-day David Duke. I debate people with whom I disagree for a living, who are a lot smarter than you, but for whom I have some respect. I'm also disappointed in TPUSA that continues to platform you. It's not about free speech. You could be heard by millions regardless. Some unsolicited advice. Stop long enough to remember who you used to be and what you used to stand for. So, as expected, knee-jerk. For the record, I'm strongly anti-Nazi. Does he sound that way to you, America? Oh, you're going to hear more. But that's hardly the point. This seems like the perfect opportunity to rebut what you consider evil ideas and to do it to my face like a man. I think you'd jump at the chance, assuming you believe your positions are defensible. I'm offering the marketplace of ideas you often talk about. Is it possible you can't really defend, for example, what Israel has done to civilians in Gaza? I said, there you go. You're not feared, you're despised. Well, you're a coward, and if you change your mind, I'm here. Thanks.
I'm sorry, Tucker was 100% correct in that one. It wasn't even close.
You little bastard, you attacked my stepson? You didn't do that face-to-face, did you? You stabbed him in the back while he's serving President Trump on his second tour, while he's in safe rooms with ballistic missiles passing over his head. You little bastard. Nobody's afraid of you.
Clearly you are. You don't want to debate him.
I'd rather debate a skunk than you.
So look, again, here's the point. This is the main takeaway here. Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, all these hardcore Zionists who've been cheerleading a genocide for the past 2 years, they are in no position to try to police the moral boundaries of the right. And so now they're dealing with a rising tide of, yes, legit neo-Nazism and paleoconservatism, and they don't know how to deal with it other than to, we're going to cancel you. Well, okay, but then understand that you are carving out special exceptions because it's your identity group under attack here. Because you partook in all the hatred of black people and Hispanic people and women and gays and LGBTQ people. You're fine with spewing hate all day. But then as soon as Fuentes comes along and says, I'll do all that and I'll add Indians and Jewish people, then you go, oh, no, that's unacceptable. And so, the fact that you won't even debate Tucker Carlson is absurd. And I do think he knows he can't defend on the substance what Israel's doing, what Netanyahu is doing, the murdering of innocent people day in and day out. And so he can't defend that. And so that's why he's being a little bitch and he's running away from it. And then he's bragging about running away from it as if this isn't humiliating for him. Dude, this is super fucking humiliating for you. This is absolutely humiliating for you. But again, let's just be clear. Again, there are no good sides in this fight. The two sides on the right are, do you support the old Holocaust or the new Holocaust? Do you support old Hitler or new Hitler? That's it. That's literally the whole breakdown. And I love seeing them rip each other to shreds and destroy themselves from within. And this can only happen if Trump and MAGA are failing colossally, and he is. And that's why we are where we are. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.